What kind of world are we living in where we're allowing babies in our own communities to be slaughtered? This is not a country that is civilized or a country built on justice. We have to stop it.
We'll have more with Lila Rose here on the back half of this episode of the podcast. We want to thank you for being here once again on the New World Old Soul podcast. As I welcome in my beautiful wife, Melissa. How are you, Mama?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. We took last week off, so appreciate all of the happy birthdays that were sent our way. Family first. It was my birthday, my 42nd birthday. Nevaeh turned 19, and young Kira turned 13 years old. So we have 3 teenagers in our household, in our family now, which is surreal to say the least.
I know. Every time I go grocery shopping and I have like the mound cart, like I feel like, remember when they would show John and Kate +8 grocery shopping? Like, I feel like that's what our grocery cart looks like now. And everyone goes, whoa, like having a party?
Yeah.
Oh, you must only go shopping once a month. I'm like, no. And then I'll be like, no, I have 5 kids. And now I used to say 2 teenagers. Now 3 of them are teenagers. That sounds so weird.
It's so crazy.
How did we get this old?
Old? Yeah. How are you feeling about that? Because I told you, so grateful for this life, obviously, but with getting older ourselves, but more so with the kids. Nevaeh turning 19, and she's gonna be 20 years old next year. We're gonna have
That's gonna be a weird one.
20-year-old child, and now having these 3 teenagers. How are you feeling? I told you I was a little kind of down and bummed out, which isn't ordinarily the case on a birthday celebration for us, but it's just, everything seems to be changing for our family. With the kids and just the dichotomy of that relationship, it's just really, it's a weird adjustment. I'm struggling with it.
Yeah. Well, on Saturday's video, like at the end, you really see it in you. Like
Really?
Like
I haven't watched it yet.
When we're doing you haven't watched our own video?
Not yet. It's not out yet, and I haven't reviewed it.
I mean, it will be when.
I usually don't watch the videos that we release on Good Simple Living until like a day or 2 before you guys see them.
It's so funny. Yeah. So on Saturday's video, you see it. Like, I'm like, why aren't you smiling? Like during the cake and everything, you just look so like the kids are all like, both the girls are all laughing and stuff, and you just look like you're ready to like.
I just feel like our life has become like a movie, and I'm watching it play out in real time. And I don't know. The kids getting older, it's such a weird thing. It's something to be very grateful and happy about, but it just, man, where are the damn tissues? I start talking about it, so I'm going to go telling you. I have a hard time with it. It's just weird. Thank God we have Micah.
Oh gosh, Micah's been such a blessing and a lifesaver in so many ways. He keeps us so busy, which is good because he keeps like my mind preoccupied. But when your kids are little and you're having birthday parties, like you think about it for moments, but not the whole day. But when your kids are older, you're really on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And so you are watching them. You're watching the movie. Instead of being a main player or a main character in the show, you're now like on the sidelines watching them create their own show.
Yeah,
and
it's something I need to work on. I wish I wasn't so heady, but just in, watching it play out, it's so bizarre. It was always a joyous occasion. And, I think when the kids were really young, you and I would always have like private discussions about like not waiting until they could get older. But now that they're older.
Yeah. If you have little kids, don't ever say it. Like, don't do it. Don't wish them older at all. Let them be little. Enjoy it.
You said on our Good Simple Living video going back a couple of weeks now that the most difficult part of watching your kids growing up is watching your kids grow up and get older and not need you as much. And I don't think this is something that necessarily applies to me and only me. I think most parents probably feel this way, but when it is you and it is your kids and your life, it just, I don't know. It just ends up being a lot. I'm hyper emotional. This is ridiculous. I shouldn't be pointing this out or bringing this up. But.
Well, grandparents say it too. Like they say it goes even faster with grandkids, and it's even harder to watch with the grandkids because like it just goes so fast and you love them so much. And then like your grandkids are just teenagers all of a sudden. Yeah. Imagine your grandkids becoming all teenagers.
Oh, and it's going to happen in the blink of an eye.
It'll be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It is. But we had a great time. Like I said, we needed the week off time. Downtime for us is really important. We're people that work far too much. This is something that you and I discuss on a regular basis. Downtime. So very important, especially when it comes to celebrating, our kids, our daughters in this case, and myself, secondarily.
Yeah.
But, we really enjoyed our time. We went out on the lake on my birthday, which I shared with Nevaeh. It was a beautiful day. We had a good time. Grandparents were on board with us. She brought a friend along, which was a new experience. Every time we've gone out on the boat thus far, the boat is new to us, but it's always just been us, our family. So to have others on board was a lot of fun. Kira, we went down into Spokane, the big city. She got to go on a little shopping spree, which is always fun for her because we don't have any kind of shopping.
No, she shops once a year.
Yeah, it's a once a year thing at most for all of our kids. So I think she really enjoyed that. We went out to dinner, had a really good time.
Yeah, except for this year she wanted to go to Sephora.
Sephora.
Yeah, the makeup store. And
Lotions and potions.
She doesn't wear makeup, but she's like all into skincare right now and organic skincare and everything. She asked for a vanity and a trip to Sephora. I'm like, what happened to American Girl doll? Like, what? Come on.
This is what I'm talking about. See?
Yeah. Ugh, I've always related to American Girl doll. All these women out there trying to look like Barbie. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I'm an American Girl doll. That's what I'm built like.
But again, not to focus too much on ourselves here because this is a very important, I'd say, episode of the podcast. Obviously, we had Lila Rose on. We will jump into that conversation here in a second. Do you want to address maybe why this is so important and significant to us? We were honored to have her on the podcast. Our thanks to her once again. She was coming fresh off of a plane. She landed in Spokane, basically left the airport, came straight to us, and we squeezed in. What I thought was a great conversation. So our thanks once again to Lila Rose and her team for helping us to make that happen.
Yeah, it's actually such a blessing that it even happened because we had this plan for quite a while. And then literally a couple days before, they're like, we can't get her on the flight that she was supposed to be on. So she was supposed to be recording some podcasts there. They had to have someone else come in and take her place. And she came, like her flight was then delayed. So like our whole podcast time, we had to shuffle it all around. And then she was like another 45 minutes late. And I'm like, this isn't going to happen. She's like dream guest I wanted to have on for 2 years. And we were like, okay, we just need to call it. This isn't going to happen. And I mean, she was able to get off the plane, get to the airport. Like she said, get out of her jeans, into her like speech outfit. And we had her until 5 minutes before she had to get on stage and give a speech.
Felt so bad.
At her own event. So, I mean, the fact that this conversation happened is amazing.
So I wanted to jump into maybe a little background on Lila specifically, since I'm assuming that some or maybe many of you here in our audience may not be familiar with her. She has a huge following online, and her life's focus when it comes to her work, she has devoted herself to speaking out against abortion and the abortion industry, specifically, I think in our country, but on a grander scale. You want to tie or talk about maybe your experience in the pro-life movement and why this specific episode and this guest meant so much to the both of us, but you primarily because you've had this long time familiarity with Lila.
Yeah. Well, I've watched Lila for, I mean, as long as she's been on the internet. I've always thought that she was such a hero for the preborn. And she started live action in high school when she was 15 years old. And like I tell her, like I joke that we would be best friends in high school because I was very into the pro-life movement. In high school, I would hand out the little feet and everything because girls were getting pregnant in high school and I was watching them then not be pregnant. And I had a friend that got pregnant. She didn't want to tell her parents. And I tried so hard to talk her out of it. And our whole friend group was against me. And they were just like, Melissa, butt out. You're not thinking about what's best for her. And I was like, I am thinking about what's best for her. And I tried. So I brought her pamphlets and like, no, you're 12 weeks and this is what it looks like. And then I brought her the little pen with the feet. And I was like, this is its feet. And she went ahead and she ended the life of her baby anyway. And it was so, I felt like I failed that child. And I felt like I failed my friend.
Yeah.
Because the whole reason she did it is pressure from the father at the time. He was older guy, and she came from a very conservative Christian family.
How old was the dad?
I think he was in his 20s. We were seniors. Yeah. I mean, I think she might have been 18 though.
Yikes.
Yeah. So that was the thing maybe she was 17 and she was trying to protect this guy. I'm not really sure. But she didn't want to tell her very conservative Christian parents. She came from the best family, great parents. I think they would have been great with it, honestly. But she just didn't want to let him down. And I think that's so often the story. And everyone thinks that it's just like girls that come from single mother households or girls that come from, rough upbringing and stuff. And it isn't always the case. And sometimes when you come from a really nice conservative family that seems to have it all together, it can be even worse or even scarier, because they're like, oh my gosh, I am now going to be this like bane in my family's existence.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressures there, and there's so much misinformation when it comes to the abortion argument. And before we dive even further into this, your own personal experience in working in this field or volunteering in this field, I get that this is a very touchy subject.
Right.
I mean, I will be completely honest and transparent. Even in having this conversation with Lila, I felt a little reluctance as a male speaking on this, even though it is something that I am very passionate about as well. I think it's an absolute travesty that abortion exists to the extent in which it does here in our country. But I'm always very hesitant to voice my opinions on the matter. I'm sure we've probably lost a bunch of you at this point, because it makes so many people very uncomfortable, as it should. But it's so important, I think, to speak up when you are defending these innocent lives. Someone needs to speak on their behalf. It's something, like I mentioned, that we have been very passionate about going back for a very long period of time. You specifically working with the options clinics back in Washington State when we were living there. You devoted so much of your personal time to helping to raise money, and you did all the charity walks and all that. You involved our kids, your mom. This is something that Melissa has been very outspoken about in our personal lives, to a lesser extent up until recently online.
Yeah. I kind of shied away from it online when we were building our platform and everything, which regretfully so, because I thought that it would alienate the audience. I thought that it would upset people. And then I realized, like, if you're not upsetting people, then you're not speaking truth. If you're not being honest, if you're not ruffling some feathers, you're at least not saying anything that matters.
It's so sad to me, though, that speaking up on behalf of these preborn children is such a controversial topic. It's always confused me and baffled me how people can be so, and I'm going to catch a bunch of flack for saying this, but how so many people can just vehemently want to end the life of their child or the children of others. It's incomprehensible to me that anybody would take that stance and fight so passionately for it. I've never heard a compelling argument that serves in favor of having an abortion. And again, people disagree with me on that. Feel free to stick it down in the comments if you want. We'll try to address as many comments as we can, but it's so confusing. I wish that weren't the case, but I guess, we live in a sinful world. And when people, will fight so passionately to kill their own child, it's just,
it's become very politicized. And so
yeah, it shouldn't be, though.
As soon as it became a political issue and not a human rights issue, I think that's really when it became controversial. And so to be pro-life ended up being anti-woman. And
not the case at all.
It's not the case at all. You can be both. You can save them both. And I think that's what these option clinics do. And when I really learned about them, I loved the idea of it, because they support women for years after. And so there's this whole narrative of like, you're pro-life, you're not or you're pro-birth, you're not pro-life. And like, I get in the comments all the time, anytime I say anything, so you're going to adopt all these children. No, I don't want to adopt and take everyone's children. I want to enable mothers to be mothers. I want women to feel confident knowing that they can move forward, because so many people do it because they feel like they have to, or they're just not educated on exactly what is going on inside their body, what's actually there. And there's
the misinformation.
So many lies.
So many. And again, to refute that argument of, hey, you're going to adopt all these kids. No. Okay. Well, the solution to that isn't to have this mass genocide of the unborn. That's not the solution. That's never the solution. It shouldn't be looked at as being the potential solution, which again, it generates a lot of hatred and a lot of aggression online. But this is why I so respect Lila and what it is that she does, right? Because she speaks out unapologetically, not because it's popular. It's not popular at all, but it's the right thing to do. And so it's a tremendous amount of respect for her. She's been on a number of podcasts over the years stating her case against the abortion industry. Done a bunch of undercover work revealing the actual truths of organizations like Planned Parenthood and all of their atrocities. So big shout out to her once again. Couldn't be more impressed with her level of bravery and not giving a crap when it comes to all the hatred that I'm sure is targeted.
But doing it with like complete grace. I've never seen someone just be so calm under fire. Yeah. We've watched a number of podcasts. She was on the show Jubilee. Jubilee is a really interesting
format.
Very interesting, where it's like they take one person and then they pin them against 25 people usually, and there's this whole vote out thing. I think it's such a great channel.
You're basically sitting in the middle of a circle. So you're surrounded by people that disagree with you, and they are allowed to approach and argue with you, and you have to defend your point. And she is met with so much aggression in that.
That's the most aggressive Jubilee I think I've seen.
Literal threats of physical aggression afterward in the debriefing of the participants. But she, like you said, she conducts herself with such class and does a great job of making her point without becoming aggressive herself. Really, really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, she had people screaming in her face, threatening to punch her, threatening to one of the girls got really aggressive. But yeah, Julie's such an interesting show, and I was surprised, I guess, to see her on there because she is so calm, and usually they'll have people that will chirp back.
Yeah.
So they'll do one conservative against 25 liberals, or one liberal against 25 conservatives, or one vegan against 25 meat eaters. It's so interesting. And so they did one pro-lifer against 25 pro-choicers. And that was pretty crazy. And then once I saw that, I'm like, I have to have her on.
As you guys know, over the past few years, we've been cleaning up our diets and educating ourselves on the lies and deceptions in the food and supplement industries. I've been taking protein powder since I was a teenager and realized that whey proteins not only cause gut inflammation, but oftentimes contain fillers, additives, and artificial sweeteners.
Yeah, it's not exactly what you want in your diet when you're trying to add healthy protein, which is what led us to Equip Prime Protein. It's an all-natural, grass-fed beef protein that provides nutrition of 4 ounces of beef, which is 20 grams of protein in every single scoop.
Yeah, it's very clean tasting and comes in some great flavors, including vanilla, chocolate, peanut butter, salted caramel, chocolate mint, strawberry, and even cinnamon roll. So they're perfect for adding to smoothies or just water or your favorite milk.
Prime Protein has been such a game changer for us, and we know that you guys are going to love it and can trust that it is the cleanest protein on the market. Equip is giving our viewers an incredible offer. Just head on over to the link down in the description below or go to equipfoods.com/NWOS and use our promo code NWOS to get 20% off your first order, or even better, combine this offer with a subscription and get 35% off your first subscription.
Before jumping into our time with Lila, can you speak to your experience in working with these pro-life clinics?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it started in high school. I started raising funds for pro-life clinics that provide choice for mothers, like true choice. And then I realized that they were doing free ultrasounds. They were providing diapers. Women were coming and donating everything, swings and clothing and everything. So I started volunteering and just helping organize clothes. We would just wash and fold, and, because a lot of the clothes are gently used. Some of them are new. And, diapers that are half the pack is used. And so we would wrap them up cute and make diaper cakes and everything. And they were essentially sponsoring baby showers at churches for women that just had nobody. And they were putting on classes where you could go and you could learn. I mean, they were doing Lamaze classes to prepare the women for labor. They were giving them adoption resources if they did not feel that they wanted to be a mother, but they still wanted to choose life.
Right.
Counseling, pre-counseling, after counseling, because that's a very, very difficult thing to do. And they know that. And so they were doing counseling for women afterwards, breastfeeding resources. They were providing formula for 2 years of formula, of 2 years of diapers, all the way through training pants. You can go there at any time. These clinics are so plentiful. They're almost in any city. So go find a clinic because it's such a great place to donate to. And you can give all your baby clothes to them and everything, and then they'll wash them. And you can go in there as a mom and shop. It's so cool. So the one that I volunteered at was called Options 360. It was in Vancouver, Washington. There's one in Battleground and also one in Portland. And we did the Walk for Life every year. And I did it with Nevaeh and then Kaimani and Kira. And I would always bring my mom. And Nevaeh got really into fundraising for them. And now she is a fierce advocate for the pro-life cause as well. And I think it just started from doing Walks for Life when she was 6 months old all the way up until we moved. But I was just so impressed with watching all these amazing people work for free, volunteer, and rally around people that they don't know, because we aren't pro-birth. We are truly pro-life. And we truly want to see these women feel empowered to be mothers, because it's just such an incredible thing that you do with your life. It is the most important thing that you can do with your life. And so to turn that down or to say no to it out of fear or out of misinformation or out of feeling like I'm going to be at this alone you won't be, but there's resources out there. And I just think it's so important that people know about these resources, but it gets buried.
Yeah.
And so we need to speak, boldly and bravely on these things so that these young women know.
Yeah, such amazing organizations with all of the support that they provide. And again, we're going to jump into our conversation with Lila here in a second. But before doing so, I want to ask a favor of all of you out there who maybe are still watching at this point, hopefully.
And we lost you guys.
With us being on this this platform, if you want to call it that, and using words and terms like abortion will automatically get us flagged. So regardless of how you feel, I just want to encourage you to maybe just take in all of the information that is put out in this conversation that we share with Lila Rose. Digest it, do what you want with it, but it really helps us out if you watch it the whole way through. Ordinarily, I'm not somebody who would ask that of you as an audience member, but when it comes to this, every single time that it's come up on this channel specifically in the past, we've experienced some pretty heavy suppression.
Yeah, suppression.
Can't prove that.
Demonetization.
It stands out in a way that really the only sensible conclusion to come to is that YouTube doesn't want this up on their platform. So if you are so inclined, I would encourage you to watch all the way through. If you feel inclined to share this with friends or family members, church members, please feel free to do so. We appreciate it, because we do think that it is such important information to put out there. And Lila, like I said, is such an amazing guest. She does such a fantastic job of articulating, these arguments more so than you and I would say. So with that, do you have anything else you want to squeeze in?
Nope, let's get right to it.
All right, let's jump into our conversation with Lila Rose. Lila Rose, thank you for being
Hello.
here. Sorry we're getting you right off of a airline trip
it's
here.
great. Hey, I got changed out of my jeans and here I am. Let's do it.
Oh, we're so
Great
grateful.
to see you guys.
Thank you so much for being here. So grateful for your time.
Of
We are
course.
longtime fans of your work and what it is that you do. God bless you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It
Thank you
is-
for what you do.
No, so incredibly impressive. Melissa actually turned me on to you. She's been a fan of yours for a really long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I always joke that we'd be like best friends in high school.
Hey, we're doing the best friends now. Let's
yeah,
do it.
I was like the girl with the picket sign.
That is
all by
so
myself.
funny. Oh, we needed each other. I know. Wait, were you born and raised here, or where are you from?
I was born and raised in the Seattle area,
Seattle,
but
okay.
we live just a little bit north of here
Okay.
now.
So we were both West Coasters, lonely, needed each
Yeah.
other.
Yes, yeah. And you started live action in high school,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. San Jose, California. Yep.
At 15, is that right?
Yep. Not a particularly conservative place, but
Yeah.
a lot of good people there. And a lot of, when people learn about the pro-life cause in a way that is not overtly political or feels partisan, it's just about a human being and protecting a life, it changes the dynamic. So there were actually, believe it or not, a lot of supportive people in San Jose, even back then when we
great
were
to
starting
hear.
live action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you to the point now that you are never shocked and appalled by those who make the pro-abortion arguments?
That's an interesting question. When you've heard it so many times, the pro-abortion argument, yes, it does not surprise me anymore. I think sometimes when I hear somebody who's particularly angry and supporting abortion, it still gives your heart sort of a little bit of a heartbreak, because you see just this animosity. But that's not most people. I think most people are in support of abortion because they think that's the right thing to do or the loving thing to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, occasionally like the activistic pro-abort, like shout my abortion. Yeah, it still kind of gives you this shock of honestly sadness when I see it. So
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's what I love what live action does, because you guys aren't afraid to show the stuff that people don't want to see, but that they need to see. I believe that a lot of abortions happen because people just don't realize what they're doing or what's actually in there. And so you guys show it, and you unapologetically show it. And I think that's so important, because there's this education aspect to it. But then you're also out there changing laws, which isn't the glamorous part of social media, like legislation, but it's so important. So what is some of the most important laws that you guys have helped get across the finish line?
So in my view, the most important law is laws that ban abortion, because when you restrict, they call it access to abortion, but basically restrict somebody setting up a shop to profit off of killing babies. That's what abortion clinics do. When you restrict that, it does save lives. I think there's a myth that, abortion bans don't save lives. No, they objectively do save lives. The states that have banned abortion, their abortion rates are lower. And countries that have banned abortion, there's less babies that are killed by abortion, because women give it more than a second thought. I mean, they don't just, the abortion clinic's on the street corner.
Right.
It's now, it's something illegal. It might be wrong to do. It's not something society is encouraging me to do. So maybe I should consider other options. And so a lot more women choose life. So when we've gotten involved, and I don't want to take credit from other groups, because there's other groups that focus on this more predominantly than we do. We focus more on culture and education than lawmaking, although lawmaking does matter. But when we've gotten involved in some fights, like the fight against Proposition 4, the ballot initiative in Florida to basically legalize abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy, and that was thankfully defeated. That was Amendment 4. That was a huge win, because that means there's going to be countless babies that are saved in Florida. So that there's nothing better than a life being saved.
Yeah.
In addition, we promote pro-family policies, pro-education policies like baby Olivia laws, and that's always very exciting because these young people are going to get the opportunity to actually see the development of a baby, and that's going to shape their really understanding of human value from a very young age, as opposed to being brainwashed and being told, oh, it's not a life, abortion's okay, no big deal.
Right. Yeah, I just saw that one lady that's an OBGYN that's going like, 9 weeks, it's just tissue. 10 weeks, still just tissue. 11 weeks, still just tissue. And she's just showing that like amniotic sac or whatever she's showing. She's not showing what's in it.
Crazy.
It's crazy, like that they'll just blatantly get online and lie.
Yes.
So
yeah, it is eye-opening to see how many people are lying. And maybe they're so willfully blind that they've bought their own lies, so they don't even think they're lying anymore. But yeah, the dehumanization of these human beings in utero in order to justify killing them as a right, a so-called right, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's where the power of education is, to show the scientific development of human life from its earliest beginnings. And Baby Olivia's Live Actions project that shows lifelike, medically accurate animation from fertilization when human life begins, single cell embryo, all the way to birth. And it's amazing. You just see, wow, every human being is a miracle. It's amazing that this happens, that this is how we all began our life. And when people learn about it, it does shift their conviction to be more pro-life. They can't help but be more pro-life.
And wasn't Idaho one of the first states to welcome
Idaho has been such a great state for life. So proud of you guys over here. My sister actually left California and moved here to Idaho.
Oh, nice.
And she's always like, when are you going to move to Idaho?
Yeah, when are you going to move to
I don't
Idaho?
know. We'll
Look
see.
at how beautiful.
I'm very impressed with Idaho, let me tell
Yeah.
you. We're working on California. We are not giving up on California.
That's good.
So,
Yeah.
But I love Idaho.
We personally know how scary it can be to find yourself unmarried, unprepared, and facing an unexpected pregnancy, which is part of the reason that 1 in 4 pregnancies end in abortion. That's 800,000 preborn lives lost every year. And so often it's because of the lie and the narrative fed to young women that their precious little babies are nothing more than a clump of cells.
Yeah, if only every unexpected mother could see what their baby actually looks like, we could greatly increase the likelihood that they would choose life, because ultrasounds double the chance that a mother will choose life. This year alone, over 38,000 babies have been rescued through Preborn's work of making these life-saving ultrasounds available, free, and possible.
And the cool thing is Preborn doesn't stop there, because they aren't just pro-birth, they are truly pro-life. In fact, they help young women be able to choose life by caring for them as well, by providing counseling, classes, and ongoing financial assistance up until 2 years after the baby is born. Support that makes motherhood possible.
Yeah, all it takes to be a hero for these moms and help them choose life is a simple gift of just $28 to sponsor an ultrasound, giving her a chance to see her baby and actually see the precious life that it is. Literally just $28 can save a life.
To help a young woman with a free ultrasound and empower her to make motherhood possible, just go to preborn.com/NWOS or click the link down in our description. For just $28, you can give a gift, save a life, and be the first voice of hope that she hears.
We jumped off the sinking ship, but I think it's really great that you didn't, because I mean, there needs to be people that are still there plugging holes. You know? So.
And I do think there's deeper changes happening in California. I do think there's been a generalized, you can call it maybe a red pilling in a positive sense, since COVID and all the mass shutdowns. I think there has been a shift politically in California that is meaningful. And I do think there's this kind of religious, spiritual resurgence happening that I'm seeing, where people want something deeper. And so they're becoming Christian, they're having conversion experiences, and then that will impact their lifestyles and even their voting in the future. So I do think California's best days are in front of it.
Yeah, I do see a big pendulum swing, especially with Finding Christ. There are a lot of young people and young men primarily that are now starting to get involved in not only the pro-life movement, but just finding spirituality and Christianity. And I know there's a big rise in Catholicism. So yeah, it's been really, really nice to see that, especially with our younger generation.
Yes, gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah, same. Yeah. So recently, I saw a post on Instagram that was Caroline Leavitt from the White House, and the caption was "Women can have it all." So you're a working mom. I'm a working mom.
Yes.
And I dove into the comments because I went, I wonder what people are going to say to that, because there's this huge push to get women back at home, back in the kitchen, just focusing on raising a family. And when I went into the comments, I was a little disheartened because so many of them, like probably 8 out of 10 of the comments were like, no, this is bad. Women need to be at home with their babies. And I felt like it just kind of fed into the left's argument of, if you have a child, everything's over. And I thought, this is just going to scare women, because women that are raised very conservative and Christian still end up unexpectedly pregnant, or pregnant before they're married. It still happens. And then if they're thinking, okay, I can't finish my education, I can't go to college, I can't have a career, I want this to go away. It seemed counterproductive. So
Yes.
what do you think of that?
I think you're spot on. It's highly counterproductive to tell women, to put women in a box. What is the most unique thing about a woman versus a man? Only men can be fathers, only women can be mothers. That does require something different from a woman than a man, especially during the early years. We need to be there to nurture. We have pregnancy, we're breastfeeding. Our very young children need us. They need a lot of quality and quantity time. So yeah, it does change how you may be doing your career, your education, but it doesn't delete the desires or the skills or the time you may be investing in things outside of your immediate circle of raising your kids. And that's a beautiful thing, because mothers from the beginning of time, part of mothering is providing and serving and contributing to the larger community. It's using the skills and the gifts that you've been given. It's helping you develop more so you can help make this world a better place. You don't do that sacrificing your kids. So there's going to be a balancing act and a dance there, which is normal. But I think it's a very limited view of what it means to be a woman, or a man, quite frankly, to say you have to live in this box versus that. There are going to be some core attributes of being a woman, especially of young children, that you need to make sure you're there for them, et cetera. But there's a whole world of things to do. And I think we limit ourselves, one political party or one sort of side versus another, if we say to be a woman, you have to do X, Y, Z exactly. What's the core? Motherhood can be the core, and that's a beautiful thing, but how you live that out is going to look different woman to woman.
Yeah, I agree. I was disheartened to see it, because I'm like, no, we shouldn't be telling young women this, because then when they do have those unexpected pregnancies, they're going to freak out. They're going to go, oh my gosh, my life's over. Now I have to just stay home and raise this child because I'm a conservative woman.
Yeah, never before in human history has there been this idea that women just stay home and don't do anything else, because you've always had to be part of creating the care for the home, and that necessarily involves being outside of the home. Maybe it's on, in an agrarian society, it's being outside of the home in the family farm or the family agricultural project, but you're not just physically sitting in your home all day. You're going to be doing things involved with the community, et cetera. But I do think there's one other point that's important, which is that I do think we denigrate motherhood in our culture.
Yep.
I think that we look down on mothers, and we think that unless you're a boss babe and you're really, physically beautiful, super financially successful, super highly skilled or educated, then you're not valuable if you're just a mom. And I think that is ridiculous, because what is the most important role that any man or woman can have in a society? And that role is raising the next generation.
Agreed.
And so we should hands down be celebrating moms more. And I do think one of the fears that a lot of young women feel when they might get pregnant, especially if they're pregnant unexpectedly, is, it's sort of my value societally is diminished because now I'm a mom, when it's actually should be the opposite.
Yeah.
You should be valued and cared for in a special way because you're a mom, so that you are empowered to raise the next generation.
Completely agree with you on that. To piggyback on that, though, there is a narrative that exists here in our society that children are just sort of a burden on you as an individual or as a family. What do you think it is that we can collectively do to start changing that narrative and show people the beauty in having families, or large families on top of that?
Yeah, it's such a good question. I think there's this negative view even of existence.
Yeah.
Like, there's actually this theme today of people who are mad at their parents for bringing them into the world. I don't know if you've heard of this. This sort of group of people like, I didn't choose to be here. And so they're endlessly angry at their parents. And that's a hatred of your own existence, which is honestly the greatest spiritual poverty that one could have, is hating yourself because God made you. Yeah. And that's ultimately hating your creator. It's just a hatred of whatever is good, true, and beautiful, which is God's creation. I mean, in this life, we get to be part of God's creation. We are God's creation. So I think the anti-child spirit is a consequence of abortion to some degree, it's a consequence of the sexual revolution and the promotion of contraception as a solution to everybody's problems. Like, oh, just use contraception. And really a denigration of marriage and sex itself, because sex is now seen as recreational, has nothing to do with building a family, has nothing to do with a marriage, has nothing to do with bringing life into the world. Now it's just kind of have fun, have pleasure at your own, leisure. When really sex is to bring two people into one flesh who should be committed to get together for life and has the potential to bring life into the world, which is sacred and amazing and holy. And so when we flip all that on its head and say sex is not those things, then children are seen as inconveniences. They're seen as burdens. So I think there's a deeper cultural issue here, which we should be, I think, more open about talking about what is the design for sex. Philosophically, naturally speaking, let's return to that original design and make sex sacred again. And that will also, I think, help us make life sacred again.
Wouldn't that be great if you could teach that in schools instead of like having Planned Parenthood going to schools? He was an SRO and witnessed. It was Planned Parenthood. Was
somebody
like,
from Planned Parenthood
Oh,
came in
gosh.
to give a talk to these high school kids, and I was a police officer, like she's mentioned at the time, and I had a chat with my lieutenant about it. It made me very uncomfortable and frustrated. We both decided that we would show up and attend the event just to serve as respectfully as opposition, I guess you could say, just to raise some questions for these high
popular
school
when the
kids.
SRO shows up as a.
It's just very frustrating when everything seems to be so one-sided in our public schools, and I'm sure this is something that
Yes.
you've experienced this as well, too, where you aren't as invited or welcomed as those who are on the pro-abortion side of things.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All things being fair, I think, if you're going to tackle an issue, both sides should be heard, needless to say.
But why do we, when we educate kids, like let's take this idea of sex education. Sex education is about a bodily act. No, sex education should be about actually relationship education. Should be about interacting and learning how to love ultimately another human being. That yes, sex is going to be a part of the relationship because you're married, but it's a part of a relationship. It's a physical one, embodiment of the relationship. But there's so much more to the relationship: the intellectual, the emotional, the spiritual. Even the idea of sex education is, I think, deeply objectifying and dehumanizing because it's about an act that you do. It's like saying food education instead of nutrition. We do this for our bodies so we can be healthier and have better relationships and live longer and be happier. We don't just say, oh, this is a banana. It's like, well, this is what the banana can do for your body. Similarly, I think it should be relationship education in schools, but Planned Parenthood is not the one to do that because they're pushing abortion.
Right.
They're pushing sexual experimentation on young people, and they're pushing ultimately dangerous, risky sexual activities that are going to ultimately lead to unplanned pregnancy that will then lead to abortion. And that's not an opinion I have, that's a fact.
Yeah.
About half of the women who have abortions, including the young girls, are using contraception the month they get pregnant. But they're pregnant because they're engaging in activity, sex, and they're having relationships and a lifestyle that ultimately is not setting them up for success. And now they're facing an abortion decision. So that whole system needs to be undone, and Planned Parenthood needs to be shut down because they're killing babies and deceiving a whole generation of young people.
Yeah, there's a lot of lies and deception that go on. So one of the other narratives that I wanted to address was whenever we bring it up, we get the whole "you're pro-birth, you're not pro-life." That whole argument.
Tired argument.
That old tired argument. So what is Live Action doing to kind of combat that?
Yeah, I think it is. It's ironic because they're saying you're not pro-life, you're pro-birth, but then they're the people that are not only anti-life, the entire potential 80 years of that child's life, but they're anti that child even being born. So it doesn't make sense. It's like, well, if you want to be pro-life, then you need to be pro-abortion. I mean, what is that person actually saying? Because they're criticizing the pro-life position, right? But it's also completely false. I mean, the pro-life movement is largely composed of people who are fighting for families, and they want not just the baby to be born, but to be cared for. And so they're fighting for improvements in foster care. They're fighting for adoption. They're fighting for young mothers and families having resources, not just until birth, but after birth, to care for their young families and provide medical care and provide free support for that newborn baby and for that young child, and parenting classes. I mean, I'm talking about the thousands of pregnancy resource centers that are providing free confidential care day in, day out to millions of people across the country. They're not getting any headlines. They're not getting taxpayer support the way Planned Parenthood has for decades. So it's a lie. And it's also very disingenuous in my view, because the people that are saying that support killing the baby and killing that child's entire 80 plus years of life, maybe 100 years of life that they could have had.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many people that work in the foster system have contacted me and said, you haven't seen what I've seen. And if you did, you would be pro-choice. These children never should have been born. They were brought into an abusive situation. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So yes, there's horrible atrocities that happen in the foster system, but abortion is mostly legal right now. So these people didn't abort these children anyway. There's just evil people in the world
Yes.
that are going to do evil things. And killing millions of babies is not going to prevent evil people from abusing children.
Exactly. And we don't, I mean, when we really take a step back and look at the logic of that argument, that's like saying, oh, if somebody is the victim of sexual assault, like a woman gets raped, it's better that she wasn't born. If somebody, gets something stolen from them, it's better that they not be born. If a child experiences neglect or abuse, it's better that they be dead. That's not true. Life is worth it, even in hardships. And our solution as people who care should not be, oh, wish them out of existence, kill them before they're born. Should be, let's help them. Let's try to stop child abuse. Let's try to stop child neglect. Let's try to stop the limitations that some person might have growing up and give them more resources so that they can have better education and better care. Let's focus on that. And that's what a lot of people in the pro-life movement are doing day in, day out. Again, the headlines aren't happening for them, but that's what they're doing. And that's where the focus should be. Help the person. Don't try to destroy their very existence.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Did you know that all chips and fries used to be cooked in tallow up until the 1900s when big corporations switched to cheap processed seed oils?
Yeah, today's seed oils actually make up 20% of the average American's daily calories, and recent studies have linked seed oils to metabolic health issues and inflammation in the body. So Masa decided that they were going to do something about it.
Yeah, they created a tasty and delicious tortilla chip with just 3 ingredients and no seed oils, organic nixtamalized corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. These chips not only avoid all the bad stuff, they taste incredible too.
Yeah, Masa is crunchier, tastier, and sturdier than other chips and won't break in the guac. Snacking on Masa chips is nothing like eating regular chips. With Masa, you feel satisfied, light, and energetic with no bloat, no crash, or gross, sluggish feeling afterwards.
An added bonus is that beef tallow makes the chips more satisfying, so you won't find yourself uncontrollably binging and still feeling hungry afterwards. Masa Chips is beloved by tens of thousands of customers and has been endorsed by industry-leading health and nutrition experts.
So if you're ready to give Masa a try, just go to masachips.com/oldsoul and use code OLDSOUL to save 25% off your first order. That's masachips.com/oldsoul. And remember to use our code OLDSOUL for 25% off your first order.
As parents, we're always looking for movies that we can feel good about watching with our kids, movies that are fun and meaningful. So we're so excited to tell you about a new movie that does exactly that and so much more called Sketch. Sketch is Angel Studios' newest family film, and we absolutely love this one.
Yeah, it's about a little girl who drops her sketchbook into a magical pond and her wild, messy, imaginative drawings come to life. It's fun and it's beautiful with just a little touch of scary to make it exciting and engaging. And it encourages kids to explore their emotions in a safe way.
Yeah, what we love most about Sketch is that it reminds all of us, parents and kids alike, that we all carry some big feelings sometimes, and that family, love, and creativity can turn even our most difficult or even scary moments into something healing.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you support Angel, you are helping build a future where truth-driven, meaningful films like Sketch can thrive. And you're backing a studio that actually listens to its audience. People who want movies that reflect our values, stir our imaginations, and bring us together.
So when you become a premium Angel Guild member, you'll get 2 free tickets to watch Sketch in theaters right now and full access to Angel's entire streaming library where you can catch some incredible films like Last Rodeo, Sound of Freedom, Homestead, and so many more. So if you want more movies that inspire, uplift, and leave you better than they found you, just go to angel.com/NWOS and become a premium Angel Guild member today and get your Sketch tickets. You won't want to miss this one.
I love that you guys, again, you put out stuff that people don't want to see, but you have done a lot of focus on the 5. And this is 5 babies that were born or not born. They were aborted. And was it illegally in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, I mean, there is the strong case that they were even killed illegally because it looks like some of them were killed via partial birth abortion, which is technically illegal on the federal level. That means the baby is fully delivered and then the baby's neck is punctured and their brains are ripped out. I mean, you can't even fathom the atrocity that it is. But some brave activists found the bodies. It was actually over 100 babies in these buckets that were just left outside, ultimately, this abortion clinic in downtown or in part of Washington, D.C. This is an abortion clinic that Live Action has actually been to undercover. And the abortionist kills babies up into the 3rd trimester. And he's actually on under camera footage talking about how he would allow a baby who was born alive in his facility to die, or he would do something to suffocate them so that they would not be able to continue to live. I mean, this is even that is illegal. Infanticide obviously is illegal, thankfully still in our country. But he's doing that to the same baby minutes earlier when they're in utero, and it's considered a woman's right. This is a human being, and they're being murdered. And so Justice for the Five is a campaign to tell the stories of these babies. Over 95 of them were in first trimester babies, and then there were 5 in particular that seemed to be beyond the age of even viability. They could have survived outside the womb. These are these beautiful little human beings that had been just horribly butchered and maimed. And they should have been given names. They should have been loved. They should have been given a chance to live. They should have been given legal protection. They were killed by Cesare Santangelo, who profited off of their deaths, and he's still committing murder in DC as we speak. And so that is an ongoing awareness campaign. People's eyes were open, so there was a lot of pressure put on the mayor to try to do something because some of these acts could have been actually technically illegal, but all of it should be illegal.
Right.
All of it should be illegal.
Yeah.
What kind of world are we living in where we're allowing babies in our own communities to be slaughtered? This is not a country that is civilized or a country built on justice. We have to stop it. And so that campaign is being used to raise awareness around what this abortionist is actually doing in DC.
Yeah, and those babies are with the medical examiner right now, right?
I mean, it's been 2 years now, so I don't know. I think the deep corruption in Washington, D.C. has prevented justice so far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrific, but this is why people of good conscience should not sit on the sidelines. If enough of us get in the fight and vote pro-abortion politicians out of office and protest and rally and make our voices heard, we can end abortion. We can, if enough people stand up and do that. But if people sit on the sidelines and say it's somebody else's fight, then the murder will continue.
Yeah.
You referenced the lack of awareness and education. Do you find that to be the biggest hurdle in winning over hearts and minds on the issue of abortion?
I think it's a really good question. I do think lack of awareness is one of the top issues. I think another issue is apathy, though, including apathy among Christians, because I think a lot of Christians, they do care about faith, they care about their families, but they kind of let this be somebody else's cause. Right. And you can't let the pro-life cause be someone else's cause because these are someone else's babies. You know, you're like, well, I'm not having abortions. Well, other people are, and they're your neighbors, and you're called to love your neighbor as yourself. And unless Christians radically live out that command that we're given by God to love our neighbor as ourselves and care about the baby that might be within the neighborhood who's scheduled to be aborted, who's completely silenced, who has no voice, no legal protections. If we don't go out of our way to care for them, who will? Mm-hmm. If we don't go out of our way to care for their mother and their father and their families and advocate for their right to live, who will? Yeah. And so I think it is lack of awareness, but it's also a lack of care enough. And we need to spark conviction, I think, in people of faith to say, no, this is your cause. This is all of our cause. We have to care.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I was watching a podcast with you. And well, not with you, but
we were together in spirit, Melissa.
Yeah. I was watching a podcast you were on, and the gal who I won't name she's not my favorite, and she was kind of going after you, saying you've lost, like you're not going to win this, so you might as well quit. And I'm somebody where it's like, if you're not going to win it, then quit. And you brought up a really great point of it doesn't matter if we save one life or in Texas 40,000 lives. It doesn't matter if we win the entire war. Yeah. It's about each individual life that can go out there and make a difference. And so I loved that because I think there's so many people that are like, we're never going to change this.
Yeah.
But like you pointed out, people thought that about slavery too. And here we are.
Yeah. And it's worth it to save one life.
Right.
If you had the opportunity to save one life, would you do it? And if the way to save that one life was to show up to a rally or to share something on Facebook or to donate, and that's really what you're doing, it's nothing like crazy. You're not like literally physically giving your life for another human life. You're just having to do these activities maybe on a weekly or monthly basis. Why wouldn't you do that? And that's the opportunity we all have because lives are being saved every day because someone stood up and spoke for their right to live. They helped that mother in need. They advocated for, the truth about what abortion was and used digital platforms to do it, whatever it is. So are we fighting to win? Yes, we're working to ban abortion. We're working for complete cultural change, but it begins one person at a time. And so if I know I can help impact one person, if I can help save one life, then it is all worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I
think you've done much more than that with all the work the great work that you've done.
We're in it together, guys. I mean, that's the exciting thing. I mean, I'm one person. We are all one people at this table, but there are millions of us now increasingly, Live Action, our online following is over 7 million. Our email list is over 1 million. I mean, these are numbers that represent human beings that cared enough to click, I want to join. And then there's activities. I mean, we had Defund Day to defund Planned Parenthood, over 200 locations in just 2 weeks, spraying up with tens of thousands of people. I mean, people do care. They do care, and we need to encourage them to keep caring until we win the fight.
Yeah, I think people are getting bolder. It felt like people were really afraid for a while. And I know I was too. Even when we were building our whole platform and everything, I was kind of afraid. There was one podcast I did where I started talking about it because I am very passionate about the subject and always was in high school. And then I was like, maybe you should take that out. It's really divisive. And he did. And I felt so just rotten for it afterwards. I was like, okay, I'm never going to be afraid to speak about this again. And since then, I won't shut up about it. And
Good for you. Good for you.
Like once you start talking, but then other people are like, yeah, like, and then you'll see other people start to speak up. And now our 18-year-old she's very outspoken.
I love
she
her.
doesn't care. I know she's great.
She's a firebrand.
She
but
is.
no, it's such an important point, because our silence isn't about us. Our silence or our willingness to speak is about other people. So if we are silent, we are actually encouraging other people to be silent.
Yes.
If we speak, we are encouraging other people to speak. And the more we speak, the more other people find their voices. So we have I think it's a sacred responsibility to put our necks out there a little bit. And again, what's the worst that's going to happen? Somebody's going to cancel us, like online. There's 100 other people who will support the message, right? And so we have to support each other, obviously. And that's why Live Action's focus is like, let's like elevate other voices that are speaking for life too. And let's all do this together, because it has to be done together. But I think God will really give not only the grace to give us the courage to do what's right and speak out, but will also give us the support, even if we get some arrows along the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we definitely do. I mean, I think, what's the worst that's going to happen? We have brands drop us. We had 2 drop us this week. Like, what are you going to do? Like, I know. That was.
Have you checked out EveryLife diapers?
I know.
There's some
It's
great
like,
pro-life brands, guys.
yeah, there really are. 7 Weeks Coffee.
7
There's
Weeks
some
Coffee,
really great
We Heart
ones.
Nutrition. You know, there's a lot. And I love that. And that's why it's like, guys, not only are these great products, but support these amazing brands, because they are putting their money where their mouth is and their values are, and they're also making amazing products. So of course, like that's a no-brainer. Let's support these people and partner with them.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely, where you spend your money is huge, just as a
Yes.
consumer, even if it's just that, because
Yes.
I was shocked to find out that all of these major diaper companies that we had always used with our kids literally donate money to Planned Parenthood.
It's sick.
Like, it's like
it's
not
sick.
good for your business. Like, what are you thinking?
It's so sick.
I know.
Most companies, many companies today, have partner programs to donate to Planned Parenthood and abortion clinics and support paying for their employees to go and get abortions in another state if they live in like a red state, and all this like insane crap. So the more we can replace brands that are not pro-life with pro-life brands, the better. And the faster we do it, the more lives ultimately that will be saved because of those simple consumer choices.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just think you put your money where your mouth is, and that, I mean, that can empower other brands too. But why
Yes.
not give funds to an options clinic, or, they call them pro-life clinics, but really they're just pro-women, pro-mother, pro-family clinics. And they're giving, I mean, I was volunteering at one where they were supporting women for the first 2 years. Diapers,
Amazing.
formula, every bit of clothing that you could possibly need, and people were donating, and it was like a shop you could go in, and it was great. And it's like, why not support those places? So they don't want that narrative.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about the pregnancy resource centers, and they're just, again, humble people doing the work day in and day out. They're not in it for fame. They're not in it for money, obviously. They're in it to just love people, and there's thousands of them. There's more pregnancy resource centers than there are, and family resource centers than there are abortion clinics. So if anyone's listening, I would say 100% get involved with the one in your city or your community. There will be one. If there isn't one, you could start one, but I'm almost 99.9% sure within a 100-mile radius, there's going to be one. And they deserve all of our support and care, because they're just doing the beautiful day in, day out work of just helping whoever wants to come through their doors.
I love it. Yeah,
I think we need to start winding this down. We're about there. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, Lila's got to get on
Yay.
stage.
Again, so grateful for your time.
Thanks
God
so
bless you
much,
for what you
Jeremy.
do.
Thank
You do
you.
such a great job of getting your point across and doing so in a very respectful, very composed
Thank
manner.
So much
you.
grace.
Don't know how you
Thank
do it
you.
because I'd be flipping out if it were me.
I know.
There's some internal flipping that happens
sure.
once in a
Oh
while.
my gosh,
sure.
she stays so calm under fire, and I'm like, how's she do that? But yeah, we love what you're doing.
Thank you
We'll
so
keep
much.
praying for
Keep
you.
up being the courage. I mean, honestly, it's so inspiring. You guys have a gorgeous family,
Thank
an
you.
amazing mission, and just thank you for your courage. It truly is inspiring, and it saves lives. It's life saving.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
you.
Alana, thank you.
Thank you guys.
May it not be true, but it is.
Thanks for being happy now.
Oh, it is. Living in the